was some dew on the ground still, or on the well, the ground would have been out in the field, so I went ahead and took the side-by-side there and went and sprayed some more field edges because I didn't want to go out and spray the beans with the insecticide and fungicide this morning when there's a bunch of moisture on the plant. Obviously it would hit and just want to run off, so it's a little later this morning now. Got the sprayer all loaded up with my insecticide and fungicide, and so I'm going to run down now and spray that one field for Dad down south, and then we'll see what the rest of the day holds. So got that spraying done down south. I got just a little bit of the fungicide left because all that fungicide and insecticide is all in 2.5 gallon jugs, and so I mixed just enough for that field, and then I didn't have to open up one of the last jugs we have of the insecticide, because if it's not opened up and we don't use it, we can return it. But if you obviously open it up and use just a little bit of it and have a bunch left over in that jug, but you broke the seal, you can't return it. So I mixed just enough for that field down south, and then I have like a partial jug of the fungicide, which I'm probably just going to toss in and put enough water in and then go and spray it out on one of our fields up here by home. But the insecticide one, which I haven't opened yet, I'm going to check that field here and see if it needs that, if I need to toss that in with it also, and spray for some insects there too. If not, then that'll save us some money. But I decided the field I'm gonna check is actually, well, it's not this obviously, because that's corn. It's over on the other side of this field, but this is one of the fields we farm too. So since I still had some spray left in my sprayer in the side-by-side here from spraying field edges the other day, I decided while I was up here I'll just spray some of these field edges, because you can see there's some weeds and grass and crap in there. So I just drive along the edge of the field here, and then I usually just grab my little wand here and sit there and stick it out the side and spray it. Otherwise, what I could do too is you can get actual, now this may look like a boom to you, but it's actually what they call a boomless system. A regular actual boom would be like, anywhere from like 7 to maybe 15 foot wide with nozzles, kind of like the big sprayer. But this is what they call a boomless sprayer. So, you know, it's only yay wide, and then this nozzle here sprays from like here to here, but then these end ones, instead of just spraying straight down, they're designed to spray out at an angle, and I can angle this up or down. So this will actually shoot out probably, I don't know, 8 or 9 feet at least. So it might not get quite as good a coverage as like an actual boom setup, but it works all right. And sometimes what I'll actually do along the field edges is I can close this one and this one, so then this one is just spraying out at an angle and just drive along the field edge. But this one don't look like it's maybe not too weedy all the way down, so I'll just do it with the wand. But anyway, I'm gonna do that and then work my way over to that other bean field and check that in the back there where I was gonna spray, if there's any insects or not, and then hopefully get the sprayer loaded up, or the rest of the chemical thrown in there. It won't be a full load, and finish spraying that out, and that'll be all done. I decided to use that one nozzle on the one side there along there because the ditch wasn't quite as steep as I thought, and it was just easier than going all along there and having to hold this out the side. All right, so finally I made it over here to the bean field that I wanted to check out. This guy, this cornfield here where I started was over on the other side of it, about quarter of a mile or so. Anyway, now what I'm looking for, actually there's some right here. These guys, you can see them. That there is, oh dang it, come here. Where'd you go? There he is. That guy there is what they call a Japanese beetle. And what they're doing, you can see right here, they're feeding on that plant tissue and just eating away at it. Now, looking around just right here, there's definitely some of that going on most of the plants. It's not real bad. I think the so-called experts or books you read say, like 15 or 20% defoliation is when they call for spraying. Now that would be a lot. You know, that would be like, what they're saying is, if you were to take one, I guess you could say all the plants, but if you were to pull one single plant out of here, and 15 to 20% of the leaves on there were basically, what they're saying is, eaten away at like that. Like if the whole leaf was, though, if 15 to 20% of the leaves looked like that, but that would look, I mean, your field would look awful at that point. So I personally, and I think some other guys would tend to agree, think that that's waiting a bit too long. So for me, I usually just come out here, look around, look at a bunch, look at different areas of the field and see, there's some more right there. I mean, I'm walking a couple of them together. I just walk around. Oh, there's another one there. So these guys aren't making it there's another one over here. These guys aren't making it real difficult to find them. So I'll probably check a couple other spots in the field, and if I see a fair amount of them out here like that, like walking around, and I can find them pretty easily, and looking at a lot of these leaves, granted, some of the ones, well, even lower in the canopy, they're being eaten up a decent amount. To me, the amount that I'm just seeing right here, if the rest of the field is like that, I personally would say, let's spray it for them. Now, some guys may say, oh, we're starting to get a little further in the growing season, so it might not have too much of an effect on the plant. Maybe, maybe not. But I always come from the viewpoint of, we want to protect these plants as much as possible to give them as good of a chance to produce as good of a crop as we can. So I'll probably end up putting that last remaining insecticide in. I don't think Dad's going to want to spend any more to spray. I sprayed 50 acres of this field way over on the other side, and then I'll probably come back here and spray some, but it's kind of hard sometimes. There's all kinds of products out there on the market, whether it's herbicides or insecticides like for these insects, or a fungicide like I'll probably put in with it. There's all kinds of products out there that you can spray that everybody claims, will help your plant, will give you more yield, and there's a bunch of them that will, but you kind of got to weigh the cost versus the return ROI, return on investment. What's it really gonna pay back to you in the end on your yield? You could spend tons and tons of money putting stuff out here to help try to protect the plant and give you better yields, but at a certain point you kind of got to go, well, I don't think it's actually gonna make me enough to make it worthwhile. There's not going to be enough return on that investment. I think I'm going to head back now and then toss that remaining stuff I got in, and then come up here and spray that, and we'll be really close to being completely done with the sprayer. I just got that little field I'm going to spray probably tomorrow for a guy, and then we'll be completely done with that sprayer. Well, we're gonna knock out this last tiny little bit for the neighbor, Rick. He's just got a small 20-some acre field that he had oats or something out there on, and he already cut it, and there's some weeds coming up, and he has a little self-propelled sprayer that he usually does his own stuff with, but he broke his arm here a couple weeks ago doing something, so it'd be kind of difficult for him to get out there in the tractor and steer with one arm and control the sprayer and everything, so I'm running over there to spray that for him. Well, we got that all done. Took a little longer than normal because that field, like I said, has got some nice big hillsides in it with terraces, so those can be a little bit of a nuisance to get sprayed sometimes, but that's all done. Rinsed it a little bit. I'll probably later today or tomorrow clean the sprayer all out good and power wash it down and everything, get all the grime and crap off of it. So now I'm gonna head over, actually I need to go eat a late lunch here, but run over and check them fields I got pivots on and see if we can figure out if we need to water it anymore, and if so, how much more to finish her out. Well, after checking Dad and Arlen's field over there, that one irrigated field they have, reading the moisture sensors that are out there and stuff, I'll probably tell them water the beans one more time, or once. I don't think they've watered them yet, but water the beans over there, and then once they get over that, I'll reevaluate the corn and then see if they need to go over the corn one last time too. So there's two small wells here, but they don't put out quite enough water to supply the pivot. So the way this one works is there's like a big pond back there that I turn these two small wells on up here, and those pump into the pond, and then I pump out of the pond and through the pivot. So but the thing is on this well here, I had one problem with it this year already once. It didn't want to turn on. So the other one up on top of the hill there, that one started and went, but that one I think is even worse than this one. It sucks some air and stuff. It just needs to like be redone or something, I don't know, but they aren't mine, so they work. But anyway, this one doesn't want to start for some reason, so I'll have to call Mike, who owns some of this stuff, and talk to him. He had somebody come out and look at it last time, figure out who that was, and have them come out and take a look at it again. So because I can't even get the panel here that controls, that's how you turn the well on, I can't get the panel to open either. So to even if I probably wouldn't be able to figure it out, but sometimes just looking in there, tinkering around, you can get it to start going, but the panel won't open either, and I've been dinking around with it for like 10-15 minutes. So anyway, this pivot is moving out of the way to where I want it. I'm gonna go check the other pivot I got, and then I might actually start that one up. There's actually one big pivot on there and then a little one that does kind of a corner area, so I might start the little one running tonight, and then tomorrow start the big one up. So we'll run over there and check that guy out. So the way this field is, it's more, I guess you could call typical but like out there, I'll go out there next. Let's see, where am I pointing to? Right out there. If you can see, there's a motor, and that's where the well is at, and then that goes underground to here. This is the main big pivot that waters the majority of the field. He's pointing off that direction right now, and he comes and goes all the way, hang on a sec, around to here, and then shoots off, ends up down over there against them trees. So there's this area over here that he can't get to because, well, to have him long enough to get all this area, you know, that place there is in the way, and then some of them trees right down there are in the way, so he can't make a complete circle, which is kind of a bummer. It's nice when you have a pivot that can just do complete circles instead of what a lot of guys refer to them as windshield wiper pivots. Like, that's kind of what we call this, where it goes around over there and then comes back and goes back and forth like a windshield wiper. But anyway, so that area down there that the main big pivot can't get, I think you can see there's a small pivot. He's down there. So then he comes up here towards this one and swings out in there and gets that corn and those beans down in this area. So what I have to do then to get the water to go over to down to that small pivot, this is where my water is coming up out of the ground from the well over there. Right now he's hooked up to the main big pivot. This pipe here goes over and down in the ground and then over to that small pivot. So I gotta undo this and then hook it up to that one. Well, that time it didn't go too bad. Sometimes when I think it's usually when I switch from this one to that one, these lock collars, like if this was this, obviously it's not pushed in there all the way, but these two pieces have to get close enough together for this to fit on there, and sometimes it just doesn't cooperate very well, but it worked. Of course, when I was going to try to show you how difficult it is, sometimes it goes off without a hitch. That's good. The next thing and then I got to do is turn the power off from this one and turn this one on. So that way, at the control panel over there, when I turn it on to start the pivot moving, turning this switch off cuts the power from this one, and then turning this one on then obviously puts the power to the small one. Otherwise, if I didn't switch that, the water would go to the small pivot, but if I started trying to move it, it would move this one and not that one. So yeah, so on to the pump. Well, I thought I was going to start this guy off and running, but I got to run back to Mike's place because this guy here, this is the drip oil they call it. So this is the well going down in the ground, and there's supposed to be oil in here that goes and drips down to keep the, I don't know what exactly in there, but something in the well lubricated while it's running. Well, apparently last time after I shut it off, I forgot to turn this valve off, so it just kept, I mean, it didn't hurt anything, it just dripped all the oil that I had in this thing down in there. So I got to go get some more. So I got the excuse me, I got the drip oil, but it's down here at Mike's, who owns that pivot over there, and then part of this one, another guy owns this out here, but I farm it. I think Mike owns the pivot though and the pump here. Anyway, I went ahead and just decided to start this one up while I was here. This one gives me problems sometimes. Same places where the one well won't turn on, but figured I'd show you. I said there are those two wells up there. The one way up on top that's actually running, but it don't work real well, is right there, and that one on the corner that I showed you that wouldn't go is over there. So basically they both pump down into this pond. Here. Over there you can see it, that pipe coming out of the side of the bank. That's where those two wells come out. And if you can see, I don't know if you can tell or not there, usually that's full coming out of that PVC pipe, but since I don't have that other well running, it's not putting out as much as it normally would. But then we got what they call river screen. Normally guys have these on the river so you don't suck big chunks of stuff up into your pivot, but it works good out here because, as you can see, there's this algae crap. When it's been sitting stagnant for a while, I get a lot more of that algae. Earlier in the season, when I was running more often and the water was moving around a lot more, I didn't have any, but I haven't been running for a while here, a few weeks, and it's been hot, so, well, not real hot, but just not running. That water stagnant, you get that moss crap. So that river screen helps with that. But we'll head back over to that other one now and see if I can get it started. Okie dokie, so got that guy up and running. This one a lot easier. Don't got to deal with the river screen and the two little pumps and getting the pipe coming up from the pond primed and all that. It's just you hit the start button, start the motor up, and that's connected right to the well, and that starts going, and then it's just a matter of sitting there and waiting until the line gets completely full. So I got that little one moving. That'll probably take about, I don't know, I got it running at about 20%. I should have shown you the control panel, how that works, but maybe tomorrow. He might make it around to where he stops tomorrow sometime. When he does, I gotta change some oil on the well that goes down. There's a gear housing there, and I need to change the oil on that, but it's a really thick oil, so I want it warm. So I'm gonna run the short pivot first, because that one won't take as long as the big one, because when I run the big one, I'll run it obviously through the corn, because that's where it's at right now, and then just continue it on into the beans. We'll come back tomorrow and check on the pivots tomorrow morning, see how they're doing on here and over there, and hopefully everything's running good and nothing has stopped or broken down, and it's just running smooth and everything is nice.